Hello students, this is Biólogo Manolo. I am your biology 2 teacher, and this time we'll share our first topic on our lessons. That is topic number 1, the anatomy of the human body. So let's start, guys. First, I would like to introduce to you this fancy lady over here. Her name is Anatomy. You may have seen her in some memes before, but this time she's gonna share very valuable information on this topic number 1. So, first, Anatomy is a very fancy lady, and she is a descriptive science. She comprehends the way living beings are structured, and she also studies the shape, location, and relationship of the organs in a living being. So, as she would say, okay, let's continue. We have here her auxiliaries. Being a very rich lady, she has a lot of auxiliaries helping her. In this picture, we find physiology. Physiology studies the functioning of the body. Histology, the second one, she studies the tissues. And finally, cytology, she studies the cells, but her patroness, that's Anatomy, prefers to call her cell biology, but she is pretty much the same auxiliary. So let's continue. And guys, please remember that these three auxiliaries are not the only ones for anatomy. There are a lot of more auxiliaries, but let's continue. Being a fancy lady, as I told you, she has a very fancy decoration in her house, and that includes branches. So let's now find out some things about anatomy's branches. We have systematic or descriptive anatomy. This studies the human body by dividing it into its minimum parts and then organizing them as systems. That is, this part of the anatomy studies the anatomy in particular for the digestive system, the nervous system, the reproductive system, and so on. So this is the first branch. The next one is developmental anatomy. It studies the structures in living beings and the way they change throughout time. In this case, I'm showing you this photograph of a fetus. Since the embryological development of the human species is the one that comprehends the most important changes in structures. And I wanted to make emphasis on this since embryology is also a very important part of anatomic studies. Now we have comparative anatomy. This one is one that I like very much because it studies structures in some living beings and the relationship with similar structure in other living beings. That is, you can see, for example, a superior extremity of a human, like this, and you also see the superior extremity in a dog. You can see they are completely different, but they are the same structure. The only difference is that they come from different species, and that's the amazing part of the comparative anatomy. Let's continue. We have pathological anatomy. This one studies the way diseases alter cells and tissues, and that's important because some diseases, like cancer, causes important transformation and changes on the anatomic structures in humans. Clinical anatomy. This branch studies anatomic structures and their function in relation to medical and or clinical aspect. That is, some medical conditions, not necessarily diseases, guys, may cause important changes or transformation in anatomic structures, and that's the way clinical anatomy works, studying such changes because of certain medical conditions. Next, artistic anatomy. This one I really like it. It's focused on the artistic representation of the human figure, and here I'm showing you Michelangelo's David. It's a sculpture made with marble, and it's located in a museum in Florence, Italy. And this sculpture, I really like it. I don't know if you are familiar with the story of David and Goliath, but let me briefly mention it. David was a poor and young man. He was a shepherd, and he had to fight with the biggest enemy of the Israel kingdom, and that was Goliath. And using a sling, and a sling is a little piece of fabric you may see there, as a weapon, he killed Goliath, and this way he proved that there is no small enemy. So let's back to the sculpture, guys, for the artistic anatomy study. Please watch David's hands. Watch his veins. His vein expresses tension, a lot of tension. His look, in his look, you can see also tension in in all his muscles. You can see tension. And why is he tense? Because he's about to face the greatest enemy, the giant Goliath. And this sculpture, guys, was made by Michelangelo during the Renaissance, a lot of centuries ago. So let's continue. We have here another example for artistic anatomy, and that's the Vitruvius Man. The Vitruvius Man is a drawing prepared by Leonardo da Vinci. He was also an Italian artist from the Renaissance, and in here he depicts a man, a single man, nude, of course, but with his extremities extensed, showing both a square and a circle. You can see here that the height of the man is the same as the distance there is with his arms open, and that's inside the square, and the square, you know, has the same longitude in each side. So with Vitruvius Man, what Blackboard wants to make wants us to make emphasis is on the fact that proportions in human anatomy can be not only artistic but perfect and mathematical. So let's continue. Oh, Grey's Anatomy. Guys, this is not a branch of anatomy. Let's continue. Don't forget that. Anatomy now wants to tell us about her predecessors, her forefathers. She comes from a very fancy family. She's a very special lady. And we have Hippocrates. He is considered to be as the father of medicine. He lived on ancient Greece, and he founded a school where he taught anatomy, transforming medicine into a profession like nowadays. And perhaps some of you may consider medicine as your profession for future. Now we have Aristotle. He used the term anatomy for the very first time. He was also from ancient Greece, and the Greek word for anatomy comes from anapteme. Anapteme. Excuse me. It means open cuts. Very bad at Greek, guys. Sorry. Eustachius. His actual name was Bartholomew Eustachy. He was Italian. He lived on the 16th century. He's founder of human anatomy. And guys, please pay attention on this. Founder of human anatomy. In a second, you will notice why I'm making so emphasis on this. He studied body parts such as bone, muscles, nerve, vein, inner ear, and the canal we have from the ear to our nostrils is called the Eustachius tube, in honor to this anatomist who discovered it for the first time. Now we have Leonardo da Vinci. He performed drawings and sketches of the human body with a great deal of accuracy and detail, and we also saw one of his works with the Vitruvius Man. Let's continue. Andreas Vesalius. He wrote a treatise on anatomy, on human anatomy, called De Humani Corporis Fabrica. He is considered to be the father of the modern anatomy. Watch it, father of the modern anatomy, because of this book or treatise he wrote, and he also prepared lots of sketches, as you can see in this picture. Let's continue. Finally, last but not least, our blackboard mentions William Harvey. William Harvey was a physician from England, and he discovered the circulatory system. He also studied the characteristics from blood and from the heart. And these are the ancestors of anatomy that Blackboard is showing us. Please consider that they are not the only ones, but that's something we can work on that during class. So, as Anatomy said in her picture, Devil Wears Prada, that's all. So, you rabble, have a very good day. I'm Biólogo Manolo, and I will see you in class. Bye bye.